Mele Kalikimaka. It's a tropical Christmas in Denver right now. The Broncos have a short week. They're getting ready to take on the soon-to-be Wyandotte County, Kansas Chiefs. All right, here we go. Welcome to a Christmas edition of After the Horn with Ron Zappolo and Woody Paige and our new furniture, fellas. This is our new stuff from Furniture Row. Of course, Furniture Row, long well known in Colorado, in the Denver market for providing great selection, great value, and now they've also provided us with great chairs, great coffee tables, and a whole new set for us here on After the Horn. Pretty
Very
nice.
nice. Very, very nice.
I love their furniture. I think my entire condo is full of their furniture.
You're full of it, and your condo's full of Furniture Row. All right, fellas, we got to talk about what happened with the Broncos this week. They'd been rolling. So had the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars are still rolling. The Broncos are wondering what truck hit them on the way through Denver.
I was surprised that Ron didn't have that score and that result, because he's always looking for trap games, aren't you? And that was a trap game, because I got into trouble 28 years ago talking about Jacksonville. Guess who got in trouble before this game? And that was the coach of the Denver Broncos saying, well, they're doing nicely for a small market team.
Seems
And
like they like
that was what really, according to people from Jacksonville, inspired the team to do so well.
Yeah, Liam Cohen
That wasn't
took
a
it.
difference in the game, but they just totally dominated the Broncos as far as I was concerned.
I had a couple takeaways. Trevor Lawrence has arrived.
Yeah.
It took a long time for him to get there, because I remember what we all thought about him when he came out of Clemson. It took a while. It took a few coaches. He's got the right coach. He's arrived. My two other takes on the game. The Bronco defense doesn't force enough turnovers, and that's a problem. That's a big problem. The second problem, and I don't want to be critical of Bo Nix, but you just don't know what you're going to get from him. It might be great, and it might be like we saw the other day, and that's hard to win consistently when you don't know what the quarterback's going to do.
I always felt like when you went to McDonald's that there was going to be a surprise in the Happy Meal, and it could go any way. It might be a little card or
little something.
opening Cracker Jacks, and you go, "Oh man, this is the time when I really wanted a baseball card of Hank Aaron's." And you're absolutely right. Bo Nix is like a surprise. You don't know what you're going to get: the bad Bo or the good Bo.
And the good Bo's good, but
So if the bad Bo's playing and you're averaging 6 or 7 yards a carry, why don't you run it more than 12 times? I mean, why don't you say...
I think we've been over this before, Tom. I think, and again, not to be critical of Sean Payton, he's
Why
one of
not?
the, because
We
he's
can be critical of
because
him.
he's 12-3,
Of course he's
and
gonna
he's
be.
in the conversation for Coach of the Year. However, I don't think he wants to run the ball.
It bores him.
Yes,
Yeah.
he wants to win his way.
So-
He wants the nickname that a former Bronco coach had here.
A mastermind.
Yes.
So I got to ask you, though, because
But
they nearly...
he goes brain dead.
He does.
If you go from mastermind to brain dead, that he did another one of those plays where there was a trick play.
But that's what I want to ask you about, because he loves the genius of the trick play. And you watch some teams, when you watch the Lions or the Rams or the Chiefs for many years run a trick play, it looks like they've got it all figured out and they've done it 100 times and it looks great. And when the Broncos do it, it looks like, what are we doing here? And they came close on this one.
Sometimes the best trick play is to do what Mike Tomlin did the other day. When the running back runs for 50 yards for a touchdown, keep giving him the ball.
Nice trick
because
play.
he keeps going for touchdowns. It's a good trick play. It works.
There are two thoughts that I want to follow up on what you said about the defense not getting turnovers. That was a big difference in the game. There were two turnovers
Yeah.
created by Bo Nix himself, an interception and
The
when
bad
he fumbled.
exchange.
Yeah, and that's so true. But we also saw that a team has figured out that defense. They
Several
figured it
lately.
out.
Several
And-
teams have. The last month has not
Are
been
we
great.
are we concerned going forward?
I'm not concerned about this weekend. We'll get to that during the course of our shows this week, but I'm concerned about the Chargers game because
Yeah.
the Chargers are playing well, and people are talking about, well, the Broncos can win the division if the Chargers lose to the Texans.
Big
Those
if.
are two good teams playing in a game, and I think the Chargers can win that against
So do
the
I.
Texans.
Can you unfold your arms? I want to see. Because I can't take you seriously
funny?
unless I can see your sweatshirt blinking.
There you go. That's better.
Oh my God, Santa! I know
Well,
him.
Very nice.
Some of us, including Natasha, we're into the
The spirit.
holiday
She's got her
mood.
beautiful
Tom
Santa
and I are
sweater
more-
on
Tom and
today.
I are more
course.
bah humbug. We're in
Truly.
Christmas blue.
Well,
At least you're matching.
We are
do.
matching.
We're the Blue Boys.
We're the brothers from
So-
other mothers.
So the Broncos are going to Kansas
Why
City.
didn't you call me? We could have been the Blue Man Group today.
Could have been.
So this is a weird game for the Broncos.
Well,
The
hold
Thursday,
on.
Kansas City.
It's a scrimmage for the Broncos.
Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, the Broncos are right now coming off that loss, coming off the way their defense has struggled a little bit. This is what you want.
Perfect team
But a
to play.
road Thursday night playing the mystery Chiefs. There's a little smell
no,
to it.
against was it Akeem Olajuwon at quarterback or Michael
Michael
Olowokandi or whatever his name is? It's the perfect antidote. The Chiefs last week declared to the nation, "We're done.
We want to lose.
yeah, and
gotta lose.
This is a scrimmage."
However, I got to interrupt you. There's breaking news on that front. Ice storm in Kansas City. John Elway never performed well in Kansas City throughout his career because of the scheduling of the NFL. It always amazed me. They always play in Kansas City in December.
Yeah,
if you look
always.
back, it's been like 40 games have been in Kansas City, really, in December, and it's not snowing. It's going to be an ice storm.
So
And every time that I've ever gone there, and that's been about 40 times for games, it's so cold
Yeah,
and
it's
it's so
miserable,
nasty
windy.
and windy.
Some of the
and
coldest
everything.
days I ever spent covering the Broncos.
Arrowhead Stadium.
Were in Arrowhead.
And
So,
There was-
but the Broncos, let's just say, take the ghost of the Kansas City Chiefs, who they're going to see on Thursday night. Take that out of it. The Broncos need to get right, and they don't need to, and this is a game that
It's
I
a get-right game.
Well, they need to get right because they also have the long stretch to get ready for what will likely be their game of the year against the Chargers that will determine pretty much everything in the AFC.
Do you think people realize, the rank-and-file Bronco fans, that the Broncos could be staring at a wild card playoff game in a few weeks?
Doesn't take
I
long
don't
to.
I don't think people have grasped that yet. I think there's a feeling in Denver, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong, because I could be. There's a feeling in Denver that, yeah, they lost to Jacksonville, but that's a good thing. They'd won 1,000,000 in a row, and we're the best team in the AFC. They'll blow through these next 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and then 2 home games. I think that's the feeling in Denver.
It's what they want to feel.
Yeah.
I keep hearing that
Yeah.
statement. Well, it was good for them to.
Yeah, I hear that too.
Well,
When is it good
I look
to
back
lose?
on my life in marriages, and that people have said to me, "Well, maybe a divorce would be good
Not
for
so
you."
bad for you.
I don't know that any of the time that I went into court, divorce court, that it was good for me.
Well, I'll
It
second
didn't
that.
help me with my next relationship. That didn't go any better. I don't think losing to Jacksonville at home, a team you could play again in the playoffs and possibly have to play it in Jacksonville, there's nothing good about losing.
No, you know what it does, Woody? It creates doubt.
Well, especially the way it went. I mean, it was a very efficient Jacksonville team, and they played.
They dominated the game.
They were solid, and they were more solid at every turn. Special teams, offense, defense, than the Broncos. They were the better team on the field at all times, almost all times through the
My
game.
final statement about Kansas City, because you guys are going, well, this could be a great opportunity for them. They're playing on the road on a Thursday
Yeah.
night.
I
Do you
agree.
know
That is
how
part
many
of it.
times that teams win playing on the road?
Not often.
On Thursday?
Usually, you're playing a real team, though, so it'll be funny to see.
I know.
Interesting to see what Kansas City brings to the
I'm
table.
just adding on to what you say in regard to, here are the reasons why they'll win this game. Weather, the fact that they're going to be loose. This is not like the last game of last season when the
Right.
Broncos shut them out 38-0, and you didn't have Patrick Mahomes, and the game was here, and it wasn't. The only good aspect I see of it is that you've got to win after you lost, but also you're going to get that time off before the Chargers game.
They've only
So-
got 5 more tries to beat the Chiefs in Missouri before the Chiefs make their move west. They're going Horace Greeley. They're going into Wyandotte County, Kansas. And Kansas is going to help them build this new stadium. They're going to donate nearly $2 billion toward the project. Quite a difference from the stadium project here in Denver, where the Broncos are not changing locales. They're staying in Denver, and the Walton Penner Group is going to pay for it. Now, everyone will end up, you're going to see a bill for it somewhere down the line, but at least they're not asking the public to help build them a stadium as the Chiefs are.
I actually like the move from a personal standpoint because you had to go past where I stayed at the airport every time I'm at the Marriott at the airport.
In Kansas City.
And you'd go past the Speedway on your way for 50 minutes, an hour to get to the stadium from the airport where the officials stay there also. And it's going to be closer to the airport than Arrowhead Stadium.
Do you think
is.
this is why the Chiefs did it, out of convenience for you?
Yeah, me and the officiator.
I
the
think so.
referees?
You
Ron,
know,
it's a different deal.
Listen, nobody plays in this city that they're supposed to anymore. The New England Patriots play in Foxborough. The Giants play in
Jersey.
Jersey. I mean, it's like anymore. Where do the
The
49ers
San Diego
play?
Chargers
In
play
Santa
in
Clara.
Los Angeles.
The San Diego Chargers are in We can go down the list. So to me, it's like, yeah, okay, they're moving, but they're still the Kansas City Chiefs.
But have you noticed how many, and I went through it today, how many major league franchises that Missouri has lost?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So look at this in a different light. In 2030, the Broncos are scheduled to open their new stadium. And if things go according to plan,
We'll
they
all
don't-
still be alive.
well, there's
maybe.
that. But also, if everything's going right, Bo Nix will be their
You're
quarterback.
laughing. I wouldn't laugh.
I'm not laughing. I just had a birthday. My mortality is staring me right in the face.
Let me give you both some information. The next 6 years of your life, having been there, are going to be the worst.
That's your Christmas. Thank you.
That's his Christmas gift to me.
His
Don't look
message.
forward.
It's really
Those next
gonna-
5 years
So
are really
you're
going to
going.
struggle.
They could
So-
play in 2 dome stadiums in 30 and.
No, here's
31.
my deal. So in 30, say the Broncos are playing right, their schedule, their whole management team, everything's going great. Bo Nix is the quarterback when they open their new stadium. In 2031, the Chiefs' starting quarterback in 2031 might be a sophomore in high school right now.
Nah, it'll be Patrick Mahomes.
It's 5 years down the road.
He'll be 35 or 34.
Oh, yes.
But he'll have made
It'll be-
$100 million.
It'll be Patrick Mahomes.
He'll be on his third ACL.
He's not going to quit at 34 years old.
That's a long way to
No.
project out on a guy.
You know what? I'm going to bet you everything we've made on this show that Patrick Mahomes will
You're
be
gonna
the
bet your
starting.
chair?
The chair, my chair now. That Patrick Mahomes will be starting for them in 31?
31.
Yeah, he'll be starting.
Hey, we talk about the Broncos and the Chiefs and the history, and the John Elway documentary dropped last night on Netflix, and it was obviously, it's must see for any Bronco fan.
if you coupled it with his appearance here,
True, when his visit with
Which,
us
by
was,
the way, when he was here, I don't remember you saying that he always played like shit in Kansas City.
forgot to bring that up. So,
Oh.
but you guys just watching
go back
it.
and look at it. They won a game there.
No,
when
I
he
do
was
remember. I was
quarterback
there.
when he didn't play, and I thought he said, "Man, maybe I'll sit out Kansas City this year."
Well, listen.
like the
it was-
Randy
it's-
Johnson
it's hard.
flu.
There's a couple of things. I always thought, and you tell me what you think, that I thought that Arrowhead, 'cause we went to every stadium in the country, I thought that Arrowhead in the NFL, because of the way it was configured, was the best outdoor home field advantage in the NFL.
A story you don't know: the architect on the 2 stadiums, the Kansas City Royals and Arrowhead Stadium, was designed by a guy who lived in Denver. Have you ever been to the past the bank that's at Hamden and Broadway?
Okay, the
Yeah.
big
Round
mushroom.
bank.
Okay, the big, yeah.
And I'm struggling. He also lived and built the house that's in the mountains. It was called the Sleeper
The
House.
sleeper
Woody
house, yeah.
And he didn't really have an architectural degree. So he had to hire people to do that. But they signed him. He had never seen a football game. He wasn't a sports fan. And he ended up designing two of the best stadiums that are still
Well, he had never
in
seen a
effect.
house either, because that Woody Allen house was.
It's a piece of crap. I'm being nice about it.
That's what I'm trying to.
I went
that's what
in
I'm
there
trying to
once and I went, I'm going around in circles because that's all
Well,
that house is.
All I remember is in the movie, the Orgasmatron. So I mean, you
yeah,
get
it was. Hey, how many times would you
I
drive
wish
on your
I
way
could
to
think of the
Everett?
guy's name,
Look up
'cause
at that house.
I interviewed him, and he said he made every seat in Arrowhead Stadium. He hadn't been to a football game, but he had been to fights.
right.
And he decided that he was going to have all the seats in both stadiums face in
Midfield or home plate.
home plate in the baseball stadium,
Yeah.
and the 50-yard line in Arrowhead Stadium. And he never stepped foot into either one of the stadiums after he designed them because the owner of the Royals put those fountains.
Is that Ewing Kaufman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said,
Well, do you
"I'm
think
never
that Arrowhead had a great home field advantage? I did. I think that
Clearly.
it was hard to go in there and win.
Even when they
It
weren't
was
great
loud,
Chiefs
even when
teams.
they weren't great. And Woody's point is correct. The weather always sucked every time we went in
Yeah.
there.
Like to maybe play them in October once.
And it was always cold and windy. And yeah, I remember Elway saying many times that I can play in the cold, I can play in the snow, I can play in the rain, but the wind.
John Elway's percentage in games under 40 degrees was not good.
Well, he's a California guy.
Yeah.
We watched the documentary last night.
Well, I
And
also,
by the way, we
I thi-
should talk about
I think
that.
I think most quarterbacks struggle when it's
Yeah.
under 40. Their percentage is going to go down.
I
So
thought
you're saying that's a
the
bad piece of
documentary
information.
was really well done.
It's terrific, and I would say the best part of it is for old guys like us who remember it. It's great to travel back and see it all again, and see it through his lens, a lens that many people he didn't share with what he was going through or what he felt or how it all played out. But I also think if you're 25, you didn't see any of it.
It
would be a
and
great
And, you know, I
education.
now understand what he said here because I remember asking him about why did you do it, and he said, "Well, I wanted a piece of record for my grandkids. It's better than a book." Now that I've seen it, I kind of understand that more, and I was taken by how gracious, and I'm not surprised, how gracious Janet Elway was in that documentary, and how forthcoming his family was
Yeah.
about what it was like during that time. Those, to me, were the interviews that touched me the most. I kind of knew what the...
And the clips of those who have passed, his father, his twin sister,
Dan Reeves.
hearing from them. Yes, Dan Reeves.
Yeah, who played a big role
Pat
in it.
Bowlen.
Pat Bowlen.
And Ron has a cameo.
Quick cameo. Yeah,
Ron-
unfortunately.
Ron makes
And
it-
I'm sure John would say the same thing. You know, when you were in a town for a long time, some of that video is very embarrassing.
Well, not your clip. Your clip was just
It
you
was
telling about
quick.
when
Phil-
Kaiser sold the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought he was totally open in that. I know sometimes when you do one of those things, you do it, but you kind of hold back a little bit. You answer the questions. You don't give too much. I thought he was,
Available.
yeah,
very
and his
available.
emotion was completely real. And the scenes with him and his grandkids kind of touched me the most as a grandfather. How much joy he's playing catch with one of his little grandkids.
Yeah.
And his kids, he's sitting on the dock and one of his grandsons comes up, says, "Hey, Poppy," and sits next to him.
Eating an
They
apple.
don't know that he's John Elway. They know that he's Poppy.
Yeah.
And it was very touching.
No, definitely worth watching.
And what he went through. And what how difficult it was being in Denver at that time.
Hindsight is amazing because people will look back on that and they go, "Oh, they got Elway," and then they won some Super Bowls, and that was really good. And you think, man, those first 2 weeks in Pittsburgh and Baltimore,
I remember those
and
well.
losing the starting job and battling Dan Reeves and getting
That was
hurt
another
and
good
getting
thing about getting Steve Antonopoulos on there, who
Yeah.
we all like, and
The old trainer,
talking
Greek.
about how John just got the shit kicked out of him those early years, and he hung in there. And I kind of forgot with the video, he did. I mean, he took a lot of abuse.
Well, you were allowed to hit quarterbacks.
You're
then.
allowed to kill
We talked
guys.
about that when John
Yes.
guested with us about
And
the new rules.
He took a lot of it. I mean,
He probably
blasted
still
him.
holds the record for sacks. Don't
I
you
bet he
think?
does. He's
16
close.
years?
Well, plus you could just tell he was also not going to, there weren't many glancing blows.
I didn't
There
know
were
how
collisions.
I didn't know how to write about a guy lining up behind an offensive
They showed,
lineman.
Well,
they
they
showed
showed
it,
it.
left
Yeah.
guard.
they showed it.
Hey, we talked about the change in how people officiate the games, and the NFL had a rough weekend
Yep.
in a lot of ways. So let's talk about the officiating and some of the calls. Obviously, the Lions-Steelers game ended with those offensive pass interference calls against the Lions, but there was a myriad of calls that were and weren't made. It's been that all year long for the National
Okay,
Football
let's start
League.
with the Lions game first. Again, I'm watching the game. No dog in the hunt. I always that the officials, the great officials, let the players determine the outcome.
Yeah.
And when one team gets down to the 1 yard line and they call a pick play and they run the replay and it's clear that the defensive guy pushes the pick receiver into the other defensive guy, I don't think you can throw the flag there.
No, you can't.
You just
They
can't.
did.
And they did, and it cost the Lions their season. And that one flag cost the Lions their season and may have cost some people their jobs. That's a big
Well,
thing
another big break for Pittsburgh, who continues to
to continue to
get
roll.
by.
Can I give you the other one that's just more egregious?
Sure.
You can't have a play where they're trying a 2-point conversion. A guy throws a pass. The side judge goes incomplete. The other guy blows the whistle. One guy walks over and nonchalantly picks up the football. They go to a commercial. America sits around for 2 minutes.
Game deciding.
Come
two-point
back and to
conversion.
say, after replay assist, we're going to award the 2 points. That look is so bad. That brings up something we've talked about before, like, what is going on with these games?
Well,
How
I
do
mean,
you-
it's always a controversial, but this year, and maybe it's the way we televise the games now, but the calls seem more egregious, and they do now with everyone in the world wagering.
But can we just say, I get how hard it is to officiate the NFL. It is incredibly difficult, but they could do some things to improve it.
Well,
One of the things, hire younger officials, make them full-time. You could do some things.
Yeah.
Over the years, I've readjusted my thoughts about officiating in the NFL. And I mentioned earlier about staying at the airport in Kansas City with the officials, and I would not drink with them the night before. One of us would drink and the rest of them would not. But I would talk to them.
Which one?
And they watched me on television and they knew about me in Denver. That has nothing to do with this other than the fact that I got to know
Yeah.
officials. And I always thought, people said you could need full-time officials. But these guys were presidents of banks. They
Yeah.
were
Lawyers.
attorneys.
Yeah.
They had jobs of esteem where they had to be trusted. But I was wrong. They need to hire. They've tried it with some of the younger ones, but they've kind of gone away from that. Full-time officials.
Yep.
And people say, well, they only work 1 day a week. Well, no. The ones that are there now work 3 or 4 days a week because they're watching films all the time. I think you have to have full-time officials. That's number one. Number two, and I'll keep this short, Bill Belichick was right. Years ago, he said you should be able to
Review everything.
challenge any play.
Right.
And that's right. That's correct.
He's
and they're
right.
trying the eye in the sky kind of
Replay assist
concept
thing.
in the
Yeah.
New York office. No. Let teams challenge 5 times. Baseball, we wanted it to be a shorter game. And so they put in clocks. Nobody cares about how long an NFL game was. If you're at the stadium, you don't care. That's your religion.
Yeah. It's,
You don't mind being there 4 hours. People watching don't care if the game's really.
but
Just-
it's a matter. It's not only the calls they make; it's when they are made
Exactly.
that seems
and
so pivotal.
Ron's right. Go to younger men. I saw a play in the Broncos game, and the official took off his cap and tossed it, and I said, "That guy's older than me."
Yeah.
And I'm not making fun of bald guys here. I just said, that's an old guy. I can't. Two of the three of us couldn't officiate
No.
an NFL game, no matter how good of shape
two?
we're in.
No way. Which two? I don't know. Hold on. 1, 2, 3.
Well-
No, but you know what? I'll pile onto what Woody said. I do. We're too old. Those officials should be guys in their 30s and 40s
Yeah.
who are athletic.
But here's what you do. In baseball, they train guys in the minor leagues. That's difficult, but you can hire full-time officials and you can let them do college games.
Sure.
That
Yeah.
while you're training them to
Absolutely.
work
Pay please.
Absolutely. This is a $1 billion business.
Well, that's like
No,
the
no,
spotting.
It's a $10 billion.
10 billion. Yeah, they can afford.
But there's two things that happen when you talk about the $10 billion business that have to do with technology that you could take out of the referee's hands. One is the play clock, which seems to be a vague, he sort of got it off,
I
or
know.
he didn't.
Hey, we'll
you
give
know.
them a beat.
Yeah, 1, 2.
Simplify the rules.
Right,
Yep.
but also the,
See, what
the
happened-
placement of the ball. Placement of the ball. You see it in soccer. You see it in tennis. Where the ball lands matters. Where it is, in the goal line matters. The yard to gain for a first down matters. And they just kind of run out there from two guys from 25 yards away come and meet in the middle and go,
265-year-old guys.
right, yeah.
But the
right here.
NFL rule book, if you ever glance at it, and you can get it online if you want to see it, those of you that are concerned about it, went from 60 rules to 4,000 rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's too complicated for the officials. And once again, they're trying to do the best job they can do. They're either too old, like I am, or they're
And I am.
or
And
they're
I am,
dealing with
yeah.
a rule book that they don't even totally understand. Nobody still figures out what offensive pass interference is, or
Changes every play.
I'll tell you one thing.
Holding?
I've been watching football my whole life, covered it forever. I don't know what a completed pass is
Yeah,
anymore.
they've made
Well,
that into
nobody does.
I
But-
just don't.
I'll give you another one. Offensive holding. They call it on every play. Here's what I wrote once, and people thought I was stupid, and I am. But I said, eliminate offensive holding.
Just allow it.
Let them hold
Just
it.
let 'em hold.
That way you don't have to.
Yeah.
Because how many times do you see a team, Broncos or anybody else, where a play comes back because
Yeah.
a guy who wasn't involved in,
In
the play.
Weak
He's on the other
side,
side of
yeah.
the play.
So that's what I'm talking about, simplifying food. What is the call on defensive holding? What is
5 and a first down.
yeah?
That's another really
at the
bad
worst.
rule.
Yeah.
At the worst, make it 5 yards. That's what defensive holding is. Instead of 10 yards.
Here's the thing: if it's 3rd and 22, and you chuck one down there, and the referee comes out and goes, illegal contact, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down. Those all, to his point, all these rules,
Backbreakers.
And the other thing you mentioned, that's a good point. I know in this technology-driven world that we live in, you can figure out a way to put a little tiny little chip in the ball that will always let you know
Exactly.
exactly
They do have a chip
where
in
the
the
ball
ball.
is.
But,
They
yeah.
do-
But,
they do have a
here's
chip
the
in the ball
problem.
now.
You see a guy on the goal line, he goes in there, there's 20 guys.
It's a
Okay,
dog pile.
and let's review it. You can't see shit. You don't know if he got in there or not, and they look at it for 5 minutes and go, no, he didn't make it.
Ron, what also has happened is that we used to complain because it was our team,
Yes.
fans. Now, there's a much bigger problem than that with the officiating.
I know.
That is the money that's
Gambling.
Yeah,
gambling.
it
And
changes
guess
hands,
what?
play to play.
They're in bed
Gambling.
with
Gambling.
websites
Yeah.
that allow gambling. So you've got to make sure that you're getting as much. It will never be 100%, but it can be what we're seeing in baseball to compare the two, that they are checking replays and they're getting things. Remember that game in baseball where it should have been a no-hitter or perfect
Oh, yeah,
game?
yeah.
Oh, it was the Tigers.
Galarraga.
The
Yeah. Armando Galarraga.
Armando Galarraga, and I think it was Jim Joyce.
Jim
wasn't
Joyce
it?
missed the
How
call
do we
first.
remember
Yeah.
those stupid
I mean,
things?
how in the
You know
world?
the problem with baseball, though? And again,
Well, there's-
retired guy who watches way too much baseball.
The problem with baseball is we have a team
We-
in
that's
Denver.
well, that's good. Here's what I
Thankfully.
can't. Okay, the replay is good. I'm somebody who believes in replay in all sports. When a guy steals second,
Oh,
and
man.
they teach the shortstop or second baseman, keep the tag on him, even if you
'Cause they'll-
think he's safe. Because if he slides off the bag by that much,
He's out.
he's out, and we're going to replay it, and he's out. That's not how the rule was intended.
Yeah.
And that's what they've done, and it's just wrong.
As Marv Levy once said on
see,
NFL
you can fix
Films.
that easily. Once the guy, the runner,
Is safe?
touches the base,
He's safe.
that's the end of the play.
Unless
I
he
agree.
fully overslides or something silly.
Unless
Yeah.
he's like slides 2 feet off the bag, he's right. Once he's safe, he beats the throw.
Play's over.
He's safe.
Yeah.
The other thing that bothers me, again, as a retired guy who watches way too much sports, I love the NBA. I've got the NBA League Pass. I watch a lot of games. This stuff where in the last 2 minutes, we got to replay every out-of-bounds play.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, 3 of them look at it. Then 1 of them looks at it. Then 3 of them look at it.
They just
then
air
they
time.
huddle. Then they huddle.
Little
Then
air-
one guy goes back and looks at it again. 8 minutes later, after review, it's off the New Orleans Pelicans, Oklahoma City ball.
Where's Mendy Rudolph when you
Where
need
is
him?
Daryl Garrettson and Mendy Rudolph to say it's your ball? You know what players used to tell me too? This was back in the 80s when I thought the NBA had the best referees they've
Right.
ever had. And I remember Doug saying this and other people, and you probably know this too. They said Earl Strom could ref a game by himself.
Yeah.
He didn't need anybody else because all the players respected him. He knew what to call. He gave you a fair shake on the road, and he warned you, get off him or I'm going to have to call it. And everybody respected him. Now they have no respect
Nameless,
for these people,
faceless.
nameless, faceless people.
Yeah.
They argue every call. It's a different world.
Yeah, and the players no longer have respect for their coach. They just walk off the
They just
court.
walk off the
Oh, we're going to talk about Draymond.
What?
When I talk about disrespect, though, let's go back to the NFL because the officials didn't see this, but the NFL sure did. So did America. DK Metcalf getting into it with a fan, and he's got currently, as it stands, a 2-game suspension.
Do you know how many times when I've been at NBA games, the Denver Nuggets specifically, that people have yelled stuff at me that my mother wouldn't appreciate, I didn't appreciate, and how many times that I went and slugged them?
You may have wanted
Do you
to.
know what would have happened to me? I would have lost my job. It doesn't matter, honestly, what fans say.
True.
That you just have to let it roll over you because you chose to be in the business where it's possible a fan might say something about your mother.
I remember the old Mile High Stadium. They had that chain link fence. It was about 5 feet tall between the players and the fans. And I remember fans just screaming stuff. And I'm going, they're screaming the rudest things at some 6'6", 280-pound guy because there's this little chain link fence that defines that you can't touch me.
You guys were here. A Raiders player went into the stands.
Can I slightly disagree with Woody?
Yes, of course.
I'm totally in agreement with him because I've been this too. I've been yelled at and I've been booed in arenas, yelled at, told a lot of things about stuff.
I was booed at
Hold on, let me
Fiddler's
just finish
Green.
this. I never had a racial slur hurled my way.
Yeah.
Okay? And I think one of the problems that we have in sports right now, and it's a big problem, is that fans feel that they're a part of the action.
Yeah.
They're not. And if you go talk to Russell Westbrook, and if he's standing on the side of the court, and a guy 5 yards away from him hurls
Pushes
a
all his
racial
buttons.
insult
Yeah.
his way, I'm going to disagree. I want to end that right away. And if I'm Russell Westbrook, I know how I want to end it.
So
and
this-
I'm not defending DK Metcalf because I think he has a history of this stuff. I don't know what that guy said, but I got an idea. And you know what? We got to get some discourse in this country where you're not allowed to walk up to anybody and say any damn thing you want
Just because.
and think that you can get away with it.
Yeah.
It's wrong.
Because they can on Twitter.
And you know, if you call and you say to DK Metcalf, you suck, you're terrible, fine.
so this is the
But
anniversary.
there's some things to certain people you can't say. And if you do, You should suffer the
You
consequences.
get what you get.
Yeah,
Which is
I'd hate to be your neighbor. Are you outside?
You were my
saying-
neighbor.
Yeah, I was your neighbor, but you weren't saying to me all the time, "Get off my lawn."
No, I
we
wasn't.
didn't have lawns.
Can
in
I
those
tell
houses.
you one quick story
Sure.
about that? I'll make it real fast. I'm in Detroit for an Avalanche Red Wing playoff game. And in the morning, I go to Claude Lemieux and I go, I need somebody at like 5:20. I know it's like 15 minutes before. Can you come out? And he was great. He goes, come to the portal outside the dressing room. I'll do it real quick and run back out. Just come in and get me a minute before you need me. Minute to go. I send my guy in. He gets him. Out comes Claude Lemieux. There's a guy with his wife leaning over the bars there going, Lemieux, you suck, you French piece of shit, you turtle, you're not. And Claude Lemieux ignores it.
right.
Doesn't look up at the
Might
guy.
have heard it before.
He's probably heard it before. Doesn't say a word. Does the interview. Very polite. Thank you very much. We get done. He takes the mic off and he walks right towards the guy and says, you got something to say to me? And the guy did the Louis right backpedal. And Lemieux looked at me and winked and went back into the... It was my favorite Claude Lemieux story.
One quick hockey note, because today's the anniversary of Mike Milbury and Peter McNabb and the Bruins
and
going
the-
into the
into the crowd.
stands
Is
at
today the
Madison Square
anniversary?
Garden. Yeah,
You know, Peter McNabb, the nicest guy.
they're great.
God
They're great.
love him.
Great. We miss
God
him.
rest his soul.
We miss
The
him.
nicest guy. He's in there with the big bed.
Let's go into the guys, get the guy's shoe off. Hey, I got to tell you guys about a great new sponsor we have here on After the Horn. Now, if you're a homeowner, well, the end of the year is a great time to wipe out debt and start 2026 stress-free. The Fed is dropping rates again. American Financing can access your home's equity in the low fives. Now, that's a fraction of what your credit cards might be charging you. Borrowers are saving an average of $800 a month, which is like getting a $10,000 raise. There are no upfront fees, and you may close in as fast as 10 days. You may even be able to delay 2 mortgage payments. You can call American Financing today. They are Colorado's home for home loans. You can also reach out to them at americanfinancing.net/green.
I think he did that very well. don't you
Fellas, speaking of green, Draymond Green. You were talking about this the other day. Draymond, the other night, decided he'd heard enough of Steve Kerr and didn't really need to hang out with his fellas.
Did you listen to both of them describing that after the game?
Well, they're so used to it now. The two of them have spent how many years now explaining Draymond's behavior? I mean, like 5 times a year they have to have their, it's Draymond.
Well, first of all, I understand Draymond Green because Ron tried to walk off the show last week.
I did. I'm trying.
And we had to beg you to come back. Kerr just looked, watching the game, Kerr looked shocked.
Yeah.
He just sat there and didn't know what to say.
I hadn't seen that probably.
And afterward, he still didn't really have an explanation for what happened. Draymond said, well, we had some problems, and he was going into, well, we're 15-15. People are satisfied to be that. He said, come back to us when we're 31-31, and
Yeah.
you'll see what happens then. They've had a strong, arguable relationship for a long time
Sure.
because of Green going. He cares about the game. He cares about his team. But there's
Draymond?
Yeah. I mean, he
Is
that's why he takes on other players.
beyond
from Minnesota.
passionate, yes.
Yeah, and that he cares about the game, and he gets technical fouls about it all the time. He doesn't like the officials any better than you do, but that's a situation that has to end. I mean, they now have to break up. There's no future for
Does
this.
it end?
It's at the end.
Does it
I-
end? Like, how does it end?
Well, like most
Draymond
things end,
goes somewhere else.
it'll fade away, or they'll trade Draymond. They've already started. They let Klay Thompson go.
So where does
And-
Draymond go to Memphis or New Orleans?
I
One
don't
of
think
those
Draymond,
outposts.
No, Draymond's done. He's got a life after this.
I think
he's a
Detroit.
podcaster.
Yeah, well,
He's
that's where the money is.
He is a
Podcaster.
we know that. He's a television performer.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this about Draymond. He's a hothead.
Oof.
Always has been. He's done a lot of things on the floor that I think he is not proud of when you're punching Yusuf Nurkic and you're kneeing guys in the balls. But Steve Kerr,
LeBron James, for instance.
Steve Kerr, who I think over the last 30 years is the best coach in the NBA. He's
Certainly-
done a remarkable job of dealing with Draymond Green. I think he knows how important Draymond Green was to their championships. But I also think he's human, and he's gotten to the point where
You run out.
We're at the end of this run.
Run out of string.
It's okay when we're hoisting the trophy.
I'll give you a team for him, though. Detroit Pistons.
He's from there too.
That's the
does
whole
he
point.
have-
That's why I bring it up.
But does he have a
He's
lot
from
left?
there.
Do you still see him playing at, you'd get Draymond, but
Got to
you
be
get,
on the right team. He's
Yeah.
got to be on a team that uses that type of skill set.
and he's a sixth guy now?
He's
But I
a
saw-
facilitator, He's a
Agitator.
He's an energy guy. He'll
Yeah.
rebound. He'll play some good defense. He'll set people up. He'll shoot the occasional three. But at this stage of his career, he's a role player.
You mentioned a guy earlier, Claude Lemieux was back in town celebrating a championship, and I looked at him and I said, "It's hard to believe that he was, a fighter, a brawler, a guy who was in everybody's face. He looked just like
Yeah.
you. He was
Yeah.
a nice old guy."
Yeah. Well, we all
nice
hopefully
old
get like
guys.
that. We all hopefully grow out of it.
He is a nice old guy.
CFP playoff action this week. We saw, sadly, my Tulane JMU parlay went down.
Yeah. What'd you think of now that we saw those two games, or at least some of us saw them? I didn't turn them on.
Would you rather see Notre Dame?
Would you rather see Notre Dame play Oregon, or were you
BYU?
happy? Are you happy with what they had?
No, it didn't work, and the television schedule told you what you were going to get. I mean, they were on TNT opposite NFL. I mean, it was
It was
a
a perfect
non-starter.
example of what makes the NFL great, and where college football sticks a fork in their eye. The Bears and the Packers, because of the way it's set up, play this incredible game that the nation had to flock to, and on the other channel, we
TNT
saw
and HBO
we saw
Max.
the Romans against the
The Lions.
Yeah, I mean it was. I mean, you tell me. You're the college football guy here. Is that good for college football?
Well, as much as you enjoy college football, you know that the committee is going to change the rules again
Yes,
after this
of course.
year. They've gone to 12 now. We've realized that doesn't settle the matter. You still have the Notre Dame BYU conversations, but you can't end up having James Madison. No offense. I mean, last week I talked about he was a good president. But
Yeah.
this is not a team that belongs in the
The other
playoffs.
10 guys let him down.
And James Madison really doesn't belong in the top 10 of all-time presidents either. But that's got to be settled.
You know what's under
Secondly-
the plaque on James Madison's wall now? I noticed Trump put up all the pictures with the captions underneath.
Well, they
it.
added the score against Oregon.
Yeah, maybe that was it. Okay, go. I'm sorry, didn't mean to
No,
interrupt.
I'm just saying that they've got to straighten this out again. But we go through this every year with the college championship, playoff championship. How are you going to handle it? And again, it's almost in this country where we are so negative now about all sports because they're not doing it correctly. Well, they're not doing it correctly. And if they can't figure that out, I mentioned a week ago, the Heisman Trophy committee is actually doing something about
Trying
it.
to,
That
yeah.
if you don't
Yeah.
watch football games, you can't vote.
As bad as the Tulane and James Madison games turned out, they were forecast to be what they were. They became exactly what they were going to be. They were non-contests. The Texas A&M Miami game was close but terrible.
Yeah, it was. I watched it.
That was brutal.
I mean,
to
it was
watch.
3-3 going to about 3 minutes to go in the game.
And nobody could kick it or throw it or catch it. I mean, it was.
And Texas A&M, a team that I was high on all season,
You
was
weren't
as
alone. We
low-
were with you.
Was as low as you could get. They looked so bad. It was like what we see in bowl games. I mean, think about it. I can't figure out any bowl game. I can't figure out what town they're in. I used to, you'd say Cotton Bowl. Oh, well, that's Dallas. Well, I don't even know what these companies are that are. That's
Yeah.
what they're trying to get out of me is that I'll
had
know
the-
what
There are
they
a lot of people in Denver
But you
wondering who
have-
Empower is in Empower Field.
Hey,
Empower does
going
what?
back to the Miami Texas A&M game.
Yeah.
Empower is offices are located about 3 blocks from me.
Right?
Miami scored, and Texas A&M for the first time in the game
Boom.
came right down the field.
Yeah.
I mean, right down the field. And it was 3rd and goal from the 7. There's about 50 seconds to go. This is what's wrong with gambling, okay?
See,
The quarterback...
get off my lawn.
The quarterback makes a throw, and the only 2 human beings around the throw were 2 guys wearing different colored uniforms. And I get he's a college quarterback. You make mistakes, pressurized situation. But I looked at the replay and I thought, what compelled you?
Like, that's open. Is
To
he
let it
open?
go.
Yeah, and he threw it behind
There
him.
would have been another play. You could have thrown it in Lake Erie, as you just had a friend of ours on here say. But he threw it right to those 2 guys. And it always makes me, again, I'm cynical, but I always wonder, I know he's a college kid, so I'm going to say, okay, fine. But it looked weird to me.
Watching those 4 games, watching things progress, things shuffled a little bit in my head involving teams that didn't play. I'm not too high on Indiana right now, and I don't know who's going to beat Ohio State. And I don't know how those games, without those 2 teams playing, changed my vista, but they did. I just started thinking maybe it's the quality of college football played at a top level. And I thought, good luck trying to beat Ohio State. And Ohio State's thinking, not only did we beat Michigan, we apparently destroyed their entire football program. They probably wish they had the death penalty compared to what
We
they
really
have now.
gave them what for? You may have beaten us 5 years in a row, but our one win was.
Apparently, they have set Michigan football back 60
And
years.
Michigan might learn from SMU. Maybe it's a good idea to go away for 10 years because we now kind of respect SMU football.
Yes. Yeah, now it's a great Cinderella story. They're
And
back.
for people who don't know, they got the death penalty and they disappeared from football for quite a while. And now people go, oh, they should belong in the playoff system.
Fellas, Christmas week. It's a great week. Nice to see you in your festive outfit. I should point out behind Woody, for those of us who are listening and not watching, he does have his chalkboard and it says, "Lead me not into temptation." I'm already there. So
I like that.
a good one. But
Well, I like to go biblical every once in a while. Yeah.
also for the listeners, Woody has a blinking sweatshirt on, so it's something else altogether.
What are you
But,
guys doing for Christmas?
Gonna sit up in the mountains, enjoy time
like
with the
that.
family, and obviously stay in touch with as many friends and other family members around the
that's good.
country as
I'm
I can.
celebrating. Did you ever watch Seinfeld?
Oh, yeah.
Festivus.
Yeah. That's a white guy's thing to do. Of course I watched it. Not a lot, though. So I'm watching the Stuart Scott documentary,
Oh, man.
which was really good.
I bet.
And Rich Eisen is telling this story that Stuart Scott's doing all these references to hip-hop and everything else. So he goes, I'm going to get into it. And he does a Seinfeld reference. And Stuart Scott says to him, what was that? He goes, that was Seinfeld. Stuart Scott looks at him and goes, brothers don't watch Seinfeld.
We talked about the John Elway documentary.
Yeah.
Stuart Scott documentary is also one that people should watch.
Yes.
And I had the opportunity to work with him for 3 seasons on a show called Dream Job. And he said to me that I was the only one that put him on the floor laughing. And I don't bring it up because of me. It shows how stupid I am. There were 2 finalists, and anybody that's watched America's Got Talent or any of the reality shows with the judges. So I'm a judge on Dream Job, and he's the host of the show. We get down to the 2 finalists, and I have to judge them. And I said to one guy, "You were rock solid tonight. You were so rock solid. You handled every situation perfectly, and I can't say anything negative about anything you do." I turned to the other guy who wasn't very good, and I'm trying to think of what to say about him. And I said, "Well, you were rock," and I didn't have a word. And I said, "You were rock hard." Stuart Scott went to his knees, and I was
That is
hoping that
pretty
would be in it because we had a studio audience. Those people are falling all over everywhere, and to this day, I still can't think of a word that doesn't
Ron's
fit.
lobster.
Ron,
That's
there's
good.
two words.
Now that's a good story.
That's another great Christmas message
yeah.
from Woody.
Well,
That's my Christmas message. That try to be rock solid Christmas.
Instead of, yeah.
well, I'm
okay.
going to have a cast of thousands.
I
So
know, you got the
guys,
family. You're
Well,
the
and a
host.
lot of hangers-on, too. So,
Well,
as it usually is at my house.
And
but
I'm thrilled.
Bus riders
I'm
and steak
thrilled
eaters?
for
oh,
you.
yeah, bus riders and steak eaters.
I'm thrilled for you and Elway that you both are such great grandfathers. The only thing I'm grandfathered is I still have my mileage on United Airlines. I'm grandfathered in.
Elway and I would tell you we're both, to be honest, better grandfathers than we were fathers.
Well, you have all the time now that
I
you
know
didn't
what he
have.
felt like, and I think watching that, it touched me because you both can identify with this. I spent 40 years working until 10:30 at night, so you miss a lot with your kids. Your kids get a lot of bonus because of what you do, but you miss a lot of
it's a
stuff
trade.
with them. Yeah, and it adds up over time. So I think being a grandfather, and I saw it in the Elway doc, it's great because when you're a grandfather and you can hear your wife or your daughter, well, who are we going to do? Who's going to watch the kids? Hey, I'm
in.
available.
I'm in.
I
Put
got
me in,
nothing else
coach.
to do.
Well, we hope that you have a great Christmas week as well. That's going to
And
do
we
it for
want to
this
mention
week's.
that we hope that Natasha, who's
She's
recovering
typing
from-
away over there. She's sending out her actually.
Well, she's had
She's
a
telling us,
health
she's
issue,
writing
and
us a memo telling us what
Yeah.
a poor job we've done this week.
You got to play with pain sometime. You got to play hurt, and she's recovering from. And we wish you well, and hope you have a great.
You're sitting over there
Oh,
terrified. He's going to
She's
go into depth
terrified
there.
about what he might say.
Well, it's fine. But yes, I did have a procedure. Thank you. And for our new sponsor,
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell them that I have a new kitten. That's what I'm going to be doing for Christmas. My house is infested with fleas. So if they want to send me some new furniture, I could
furniture?
use
Well,
it.
why don't you take
Make
that
the cleanup
chair
a lot
home?
easier.
that you're sitting in.
Chair's a hefty chair. Take
These
a few
look good.
people.
Just
Well,
looking
I
at the
would
chairs.
like to. My Christmas spirit is we work with the team that is behind the scenes here at Guerrilla Sports, and they do such an incredible job because somebody has to.
They
Certainly
make our
wouldn't be
job
us,
easy,
right?
For John and
It's not
Ashley
us.
and Blake and David,
All of
the
them.
people who really make this show come together every week. We want to say thanks to them and we always wish them a Merry Christmas. But thanks again for all the work you've done this year and more to come.
And all of you out there, really, it's been a tough year in the United States, tough year in the entire world, and we hope that the holidays can at least bring you some joy and maybe some hope for what happens in 2026.
Amen.
That's going to do it for us. You can always reach us ATH at GorillaSports.net, and we wish you a very Merry Christmas. Thanks.